Hello everyone, this is Faith at Faith and Books. How are you doing? I just turned off the engine. That's where the lights are on. I'm just sitting in my driveway right now. It's raining outside. Because the park that I usually go to when I want to do these early morning videos, first of all, it's not so early. I'm like an hour later than I thought it would be. But they do a winter wonderland walk, and they've got all kinds of things there. And people get there early, and so anyway, I don't want to use their parking lot. So anyway, I am just going to do a review of 2 books that I finished reading. Let me get them out. And then just a really quick update. And then I vlogged a little bit from mostly last weekend, the beginning of Advent. So I finished 2 books since then. The first one that I finished was The Johnstown Flood by David McCullough. And it was a very interesting read. This was his first book, and it's just already had that signature writing style where it reads like a novel, but he manages to get a lot of facts in there as well. And there's just a warmth to his writing, and there's humor, but he doesn't seem to have an agenda. A lot of times in history, I feel like the author has this particular point of view they're going to push, and they kind of try to cram all the facts into it. So I feel like he's more objective. It feels more objective anyway, maybe not. But I really like his writing style. So I enjoyed reading this with Linda Jo Martin. It was a buddy read. And my father was from Pittsburgh. And Johnstown is a short distance from Pittsburgh. And so I've never been to Pittsburgh. I've never been to that area. So we were talking about how we'd like to visit it. I would like to go visit Pittsburgh and Johnstown. Linda did a lot of research, and she was giving me links to museums and all sorts of interesting things. I would really like to go there. So it's about a dam that fails, and it basically floods Johnstown in just a horrible way. Like thousands of people died, 2,000 something or another died. At the end of the book, it's just a list of all the people who drowned. I mean, it goes on for pages and pages like this. And they still didn't identify everybody. They might have missed some. Yeah, it just goes on for pages and pages. But it's a very interesting book. It has some black and white photos in it. Now, it was really due to negligence and indifference on the part of the people in charge of the dam. The dam was originally built by the state of Pennsylvania because they were trying to open up a canal system like the Erie Canal to compete with the Erie Canal. But there were a lot of delays, and I guess funding ran out and that sort of thing. So it took a long time for it to be built, but it was built, according to the standards of the day. So it was initially safe. But what happened was, the minute the dam was complete, the railroad had gone through. And so the railroad took over from the canal, from what the canal would have done. And so it was obsolete, like, immediately. And so it just sat there in disuse, and, because of time, there was no upkeep or anything. It sat there for years and years and years. And then finally, and people came and took stuff from it and that sort of thing. So it was really in disrepair. Then when these rich, robber barons of Pittsburgh started to make money, they decided to make a nice vacation resort just a short train ride away from Pittsburgh. And so they used the lake for fishing, and the South Fork, which is named after one of the major streams that fed into the river, South Fork Fishing and Hunting Club, or Hunting and Fishing Club, or whatever. And they built these beautiful Victorian cottages. They were really big houses. And the rich would come and fish and socialize with each other and that sort of thing. And so Andrew Carnegie was a member, Henry Clay Frick, all these people, and they and Robert Picarn was a major player. because he actually was in charge of the cleanup after the flood. He had been trying to travel the day that the flood happened. He saw what had happened. He realized the enormity of the issue, and he went back to Pittsburgh, and he was trying right away to send aid and organize things, and because the railroad had washed out too, so they had to repair the railroad. Anyway, it's a real human interest story because so many people drowned, and there was so many bizarre events that happened. Like, people got saved in bizarre ways, and people drowned in bizarre ways, and just so he's really good at the human interest side of things. So, and nobody ever got sued or anything. I think maybe there was one small lawsuit. They really were negligent. The guy who set up the club, who had already passed away, just was really bad. Did not repair the dam and bring it up to standards. They didn't use engineers. They had never actually registered the dam with the county. There was no inspections going on or anything. And the people of Johnstown were nervous about the dam, and they would ask about it. But they also got used to the idea that the dam was up there and that it hadn't failed yet, so, you know, it's not going to fail. And then when they had this horrendous spring storm after a already very rainy spring, it happened on Memorial Day weekend that they had, or whatever. It was right after Memorial Day that it happened. So anyway, very interesting story. It was shorter, so I managed to finish it a little bit. I think I started it maybe the Monday after Thanksgiving, or was it the Friday after Thanksgiving? Anyway, it's really raining now. Can you hear that? I gotta run to the store after this. Okay, then the next book I finished was C.S. Forrester's Hornblower During the Crisis. This was the very last of the 11 books that I was reading all this year, so I've completed all the reading that I had assigned for myself. It was a read-along. We had a group at the beginning, and it started to sort of, you know, people started to drop off, and I think I might be the only one left standing. I think Linda is pretty close as well, but she was listening to them on audio, and I think the one before this, which I've already forgotten the name, Admiral Hornblower in the West Indies, was not on audio, so she didn't get to that one yet. But she had read this a while ago. So this is actually stuff that they found after Forrester had died, and so they published it. But it's really, it's unfinished ideas that they sort of have. One is sort of like a novella, the first one, that it's named after Hornblower During the Crisis, which I thought sounded really good. It's back when he just has gotten off the Hotspur, and he's going to be made, he wants to be made captain. Like, that's what he's been promised, and he's waiting. But then you can see they have the author's notes, what Forrester was planning to do with the rest of the book. But it's just like a novella. And then there's 2 short stories, Hornblower's Temptation, and the last one is The Last Encounter, when he's 72 years old. So yeah, so this was an interesting read. I enjoyed it. It was a quick read. And now I'm done. I feel a real sense of accomplishment. I also feel a sense of accomplishment with David McCullough, because I do have this goal of reading all his works. And I think this is the 5th one now that I've read. I've read 1776, John Adams, The Path Between the Seas, about the Panama Canal, Mornings on Horseback, which is about the early life and career of Teddy Roosevelt, and now this one. Is that all of them? Yeah. So I hope the next one I want to read is Truman. I think I might save that for like Historathon at the end of 2024. But that's the next one that I think I want to read. So those are 2 books that I finished. I'm still reading Castle Door by Daphne du Maurier, and I'm about, how far am I? Why is this not saying? I think I'm about 72% or something like that. I was going to try and finish it. I wanted to be able to say I had finished 3 books, but I just didn't get to it. I have started watching TV again with my husband. We've been actually watching the John Adams series that came out in 2008. And I heard rave reviews about it, and we do like it. It's the first 2 I like better than this middle one, because I don't like the way they characterized Abigail Adams. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I quite agree with the way it's being played. Anyway, so I'm going to try and finish Castle Door this week. And then I'm going, I started reading another book, Please Don't Eat the Daisies by Jan Kerr. That's like an old-time funny book written by a woman who, like, I think she was like a comedic columnist, and I think she also wrote plays like back in the 50s and 60s, maybe early 60s. She was just part of this sort of New York crowd. They had a TV show based on her book, and then there was a movie with Doris Day. I started reading that, but I just started it, and what I really want to do is finish Castle Door, and then it's on my Kindle here, and then read Don't Eat the Daisies, Please Don't Eat the Daisies, and that's super light and comical. And then the other thing that I want to read after I've already said this before, I think the last one, so I'll just say, while I'm reading, because I'll have a Kindle read. The Kindle read will be Please Don't Eat the Daisies after Castle Door. This will be my hardback, Nancy Drew. Really looking forward to this one. And then I think around Christmas time, I'll start dipping into this. And Little Dorrit, I got through the first book of Little Dorrit, and so I'm like this far. I've gotten this far, but I want to finish this in December. So this took me October and November. So can I do it? I have to really, really concentrate on listening to it more. And I might be able to. I might have just more time because we're going to have a long Christmas break. So yeah, so I really want to work on this. I'm enjoying it very, very much. It's very poignant, poor Little Dorrit. And let's see, the other things I wanted to touch on. Can you see me? I'm bending over here. I am reading the book of Luke, Gospel of Luke, and I've been very faithful so far. I'm on December, like today's December 10th, and I just finished reading the 10th chapter. I really like Luke. It might be my favorite gospel, really. I really like it. And then after Luke, I'm going to read the Acts of the Apostles, because that's the other book they attribute to him. And then I have been reading The Lord, and at times it's really amazing to me, like things that I'd never thought about. But there are other things to me that I just think are a little bit off the wall. I'm like, I don't get that, but maybe it's my own ignorance. But some of the stuff is just amazing. So I'm enjoying The Lord. I didn't read that today because I just didn't have enough time. I woke up late, and I just have stuff to do because we're going to have Hanukkah tonight, and my family's coming over, and I'm about to go to the store and get... I'm just going to buy a bunch of... I already bought the latkes. I don't make them. I buy the Trader Joe's latkes. I bought those weeks ago because they can sell out sometimes. And then I'm just going to go to the store, and I'm going to get already made egg salad and tuna salad and fruit salad, all that kind of stuff to go with the latkes, which are supposed to be the main, the main draw of the meal. Another thing I did is I got a prescription. I can't talk this morning. Let me have another sip of coffee here. I got a subscription to Victoria magazine. Actually, I bought this one, but I decided to give in and subscribe. I've heard about it for ages and ages. People have been talking about it, and I do like all that eye candy, even though I myself am so ADD. I can never achieve anything that looked like that. But I do like to look at it. It is relaxing. It's a nice escapism. So yeah, and what really spurred me was that I follow the Daily Connoisseur, and what's her name? Jennifer, where is she? Wait, she's in here. Anyway, she announced on her YouTube channel that she is writer in residence for Victoria magazine. So I thought, oh, I gotta get it. So I've been wanting, toying with the idea of getting it for years, and I finally did. So that's fun. That's fun to read. Okay, so there's probably more to talk about, but I do not remember what it is. And it's already almost 15 minutes. Oh my goodness. So, and I do have a little stuff that I vlogged, so I might add that on at the end. All right, so I hope you're doing well. I hope you're having a wonderful Advent, and happy Hanukkah. And I will talk to you later. Happy reading. Okay, I'm at the store in the parking lot. I have to run in, but I forgot to mention that there is the Advent read-along today at 4 Eastern Time, and it's being hosted on the Bookish Princess channel. And it's a reading sprint, and we're going to start, or at least I'm going to start reading He That Should Come by Dorothy L. Sayers. It's a play by Dorothy L. Sayers out of her Four Sacred Plays collection that you can get on Kindle for 99 cents. So that's happening this afternoon. It's conflicting directly with my Hanukkah party. So I'm just going to be on for maybe a half an hour at most, and then I have to go down and, greet family and put dinner on the table. So, all right. So I hope I see you there for a little bit. I don't even have the link, though. So maybe I'll find the link. But how will I have time to I don't even feel like I can put this up today because I'm so busy. Maybe I'll be able to do it this afternoon. I don't know. Okay, I'm babbling. Talk to you later. Bye. So I've been doing such wonderful reading. Advent seems to be off to a good start there. I put the candles in the wreath, and we're going to light the first one today. I didn't go on retreat. I decided not to because of my husband's health. He's feeling a lot better right now, but it's kind of fragile. And he's gonna be in the hospital a lot because he has 2 surgeries coming up in winter. And so in January and probably March, second one hasn't been scheduled. And it's gonna take time for him to convalesce and recuperate. So I feel like I didn't want to go away. It just wasn't a good time to go away. But God is so good. I have had so much consolation because I've been praying better. I've made the decision to redo this daily meditations with the Holy Spirit next year as well. So it starts, it got scribbled on by my grandson. Yeah, see. But this is just so inspiring and starts January 1st. And it's just beautiful. And it was a really great way to start my prayer in the morning. So I'm going to redo this starting January 1st. And then I've been praying the Liturgy of the Hours. I try to pray lauds most of the time. I've been trying to get in the habit of praying at least one other, either the evening prayer or night prayer. So I haven't been too successful, but a little bit. So yeah, so I feel hopeful about that. And I've just been getting more out of the readings. So one time I might just go through this just to show you how it works. And then I've been using this old battered Bible to read one chapter of Luke every morning. And it's been wonderful. I've really been enjoying reading this. And then I didn't know that this was going to happen, but I started to read The Lord by Romano Guardini, and it's actually like commentary on Luke. That's how it starts out with the infancy narratives. And so this is really good. I'm really getting a lot out of this. And then on top of all that, my son-in-law's father, who's a devout Catholic, gave us this incredible 3 volumes. This is Cycle B, but there's 3 of these books. They're chunkers. And it's commentary on the Sunday readings, so reflections on the Mass readings, by Peter Kraft. Peter Kraft, I've actually met him. He is a well-known Catholic theologian. He's taught philosophy and theology at Boston University. Is it Boston? No, Boston College. Boston College for many years. He's an older man now. Wonderful person, very prolific writer. And he did this for the Word on Fire. Does it say Word on Fire? No, but it has a little symbol there. That's the Word on Fire symbol, which is Bishop Barron's, publishing company. Anyway, so I'm starting to read this. What this really is Well, he writes commentary on the readings, and it's really to help priests write their homilies. So, of course, Advent is the beginning of the liturgical year. And here's the first Sunday of Advent. So the readings for today are from Isaiah, right? And then he has two different reflections, which I'm starting to read. One's about the problem of evil. That's the first one. And then here's reflection 2. And I'm not sure what that one's about. My piano work is not great here. And then here's the responsorial psalm. And that comes from Psalm 80. So that's the responsorial psalm. Then he has a reflection on that. I mean, this is a lot. There's a lot to read. And then the second reading is 1 Corinthians 1. And we've got a reflection on that. And then finally we get to the gospel. We're reading Mark this year. This is cycle B. So the way it works in the Roman Catholic Church after Vatican II is there's a 3-year cycle, cycle A, cycle B, cycle C, and each cycle focuses on a different gospel. So this is the Gospel of Mark, and then John is interspersed, usually during like Christmas, Holy Week. The Gospel of John is interspersed. And so this year, we're going to be focusing mostly on Mark. So the way it works is if you go to Sunday Mass, within 3 years, you're going to hear a huge percentage of the Bible, like maybe 70-some% of the Bible will be read out from the pulpit. If you go to Mass every day, you'll hear a slightly greater percentage, and I can't remember what it is, within a year. So that's how they coordinate things. So anyway, so this is exciting, but it's a lot to read. I don't know if I'm going to get all of this read. But it's a wonderful gift that he gave us. I really appreciate it. So the other thing I forgot to mention about Advent and why it's been such a good start. I'm sitting here in my bathroom, pardon me. Though, look, the sun is coming out. I gotta go get dressed and walk the dog. He's being very patient. Usually he's whining by now to get out of his crate. But anyway, one of the things you're supposed to do in Advent is go to confession. So Catholics, we have the sacrament of confession, which we believe is a gift Jesus gave us to as a sort of a definite way to receive sanctifying grace from him. And so the church takes literally when Jesus says, you know, what sins you forgive on earth will be forgiven, you know. And so though the priest is not doing it, he's working. He's just in Christi persona, right? He's just taking the place of Jesus, and he's a conduit. He's not actually doing the forgiving. It's really God who's doing the forgiving. Anyway, we have a sacrament where we go in and we confess our sins, and we get to be absolved. And you get a little bit of counseling about how to live a better life. And yesterday was the first penance or first reconciliation or first confession. We use all those words for my 8-year-old grandson. So it was so sweet. It was really sweet. So I got to go to confession yesterday with him, and I had a really good confession. So that's a really good start to Advent as well. So technically, you're supposed to go to confession at least once a year during Lent. That is the base requirement. And then you're encouraged to go a lot more than that. I try to go during Advent and during Lent. I used to try to go once a season. So like once in the fall, once in the winter, that would be Advent. And then once in Lent, that would be, usually March. And then once in the spring, maybe April or May, and then once in the summer, you know. So I used to try to do that, but I've gotten so bad. So now I go only like Advent and Lent. So I'm remiss. I should do more because it's a very healing activity. So anyway, so that was a really nice experience yesterday. I had a wonderful confessor. He was a Dominican priest who came out to help with the first penance of all the second graders. It was just darling, so sweet. But anyway, so yeah, so now I forget why I started talking about that. So anyway, I'm just having a very good beginning, and I don't regret that I didn't go on retreat. I would still like to go on retreat, maybe in the summer. I don't know. I'll see. Okay. So I am hosting my extended family Christmas party. We're doing this on New Year's Day, though, and we're going to have a 1940s theme because my parents were married in 1944. And look at this Evite I found on, or it's not an Evite, it's an invitation I found on Etsy, which is like a war ration book. And I've already filled it in, edited it, and my niece uploaded it to Evite, so we're sending out the invitations today. But anyway, we're going to have this 1940s costume party, and I'm just so pleased with myself that I found this invitation. So I'm really looking forward to it. Okay, every day I tell myself I'm going to go get my hair cut, and then I'm too lazy to go. So I haven't gotten my hair cut. But since I just got finished reading about Thomas Merton, I know I keep talking about him, but I'm kind of a fan right now. I just happened to get this catalog in the mail, and this is the Trappist Monastery, Gethsemane. Am I saying that right? So it sounds wrong. Anyway, and they make fruit cake and fudge and things like that. So I think I'm going to buy some for Christmas. Actually, once before I bought a gift from this catalog, and that's why I'm on their mailing list, but it was ages ago. But also, I think I mentioned that we're having a 1940s Christmas party, but on New Year's Day. And I think I want to order old-fashioned things like fruit cake and fudge, and I'm going to see what else they've got. So I think that would be a fun touch. And I'm pretty sure those are classic Christmas things that, you know, will give, at least won't disrupt the 1940s vibe of the party. So, and I'm excited. I also just bought a dress from Etsy, a 1940s dress. So we'll see how this goes.